Hello my friend, it's King Gabriel again, here with another impromptu video. And tonight's video is eyes that do not see. Now the topic is really about vision. Those who know what vision is won't need the explaining, but for those who want to understand and have not really become familiar with this term as yet, vision is sometimes used in terms of having some goal in front of you that you're going towards. However, let's look at vision a bit differently and see what it really is. Vision is a tool that is used by the mind so that you see. Now, what people consider seeing, which is using these two things that we call eyes to view the world, is not exactly seeing. It's actually perceiving, right? We're perceiving consciousness. We're perceiving the magnetic level of consciousness. Right? And then we react to what we say we see, but really it's perceiving. Now, when I say seeing, what I mean is this, to clarify and to explain what I mean by the idea of perception versus seeing. If someone has fallen asleep, for instance, you may have a friend of yours or something, or you may have met somebody along the way, and even if you haven't met somebody, you probably have heard about it already, where someone can fall asleep with their eyes open. Their eyes are wide open. They're staring. And yet still, people will pass in front of them and say hi and stuff, and they'll be fully sound asleep, right? So if they can be sound asleep while their eyes are actually open and taking in information, supposedly, then why aren't they responding? How can they sleep with their eyes open? That's incredible, huh? The funny thing about it is this. The eyes do not actually see. The eyes perceive. We see with the mind. The mind makes up images and makes up how it will perceive things, receives information and translates that information into understandable bits for the being. And so, really and truly, we do not see with our eyes. What we do is we take in information or perceive with our eyes. The real processing of the vision happens within the mind. And to go further on that, the vision can be altered by the mind as well. So then, if you are perceiving something a specific way, understand that reality itself is as it is, but your perception of reality can be shifted by the information that you take in, the information that you believe in, or, to be even clearer, by your consciousness, all that you believe and accept as being true. So if this is the case, and you can only see what's within your consciousness, then you realize that your eyes are used to function only on the magnetic level, only on the level of perception, which is that horizontal level that we discussed in earlier videos. Therefore, the only way to actually shift what your eyes would perceive would be to shift what you actually see. Shift your consciousness. By having a shift in the consciousness, what is displayed before the eyes as perception is then shifted. That shift in consciousness comes from love intelligence. It comes from above. It comes from divine consciousness. It comes through that channel and then shifts our experience. And that's when we will perceive things differently. Okay? Now, just to be clear, the idea of this perception and the tools that we're using for it, our eyes, ears, nose, mouth, etc., all of this is within what we call the body, right? And I want to be clear on saying the body, because a lot of people claim it as my body, etc. And what it does is it gets them to associate themselves with this thing, and they give into the idea that if this thing is hurt, then they are hurt, and there's a certain amount of vulnerability and weakness that goes with identifying with a body, right? A body is a tool. It's actually a tool that's used for communication, right? We communicate different vibrations, different frequencies, different understandings, and we teach just like I'm doing right now through a body, right? Because that's what we can perceive. And so on the level of perception, the body is necessary to communicate information. And that is its usefulness, its true usefulness here. Now, if you engage in seeing the body as the main figure or as the main thing, then if it is hurt, you can feel like you've lost value in some way. And this is where some people may go into things like depression and all of these other things. But depression itself, anxiety and all these things, they don't even need to be there, because truly they're always in relation to thinking of oneself as an individual cut off thing, which is a body. And it's not even necessary to think of yourself in that way. If you were to think of yourself as the expanded being, which is the mind that's actually occupying the body and using the body as a tool to communicate, then there would be no pain, no suffering when it comes to things like something happening regarding the body or whatever. And most likely nothing will be happening to you that will warrant you feeling bad or down either. Because if you were to use the body correctly for communication, it can only bring you joy. And that is the truth about it. It must bring you joy because it's being used under the correct guidance, under love intelligence. And love intelligence is going to guide you in a way that only brings you joy. Love, right, or joy I should say, is the evidence of love's presence. And you may have heard that before in other ways, but it's really true. When love is present, joy is just a side effect. People are happy when love is present. And the thing about the body being a tool, just to get back to that clearly, is that when someone sees the body as themselves, if they are totally invested in it, right, and then something happens, they may back off of using the body and feel depressed and sad and suffer from atrophy, muscle atrophy and all these things. And this happens for younger folks as well as older folks. For instance, if someone breaks their hand and they have a cast on, the hand, if it's left in that cast for 2 weeks or so, will start to atrophy. Just from lack of use, the muscles in the hand will atrophy. And just like that, if the mind is not used, like in older folks who probably go to retirement homes and start believing that they're getting old and life is almost over and all of that stuff, and they don't feel useful, they too start to atrophy. Their minds, or their brains, start to atrophy as well, and then Alzheimer's and all those things come on. But that is just as a result of lack of use. And so really and truly, if we want to make a difference in that area as well, right, it's about knowing that the body is a tool, and if it's not being used, if it's not useful, then the animating force will start to withdraw from it. And the withdrawal from it is what really causes the atrophy of the muscles and stuff. They are not sustained by food and by exercise and all these things. These are things that come afterwards, after the thought has already been instilled, has already come down and decides to act on that magnetic level. So understand that really and truly, the usefulness of the body is only the usefulness that the mind has for it as a tool. If it can be used, then yes, it will be used well. And well, if its usefulness is gone, then its purpose is gone. And then it whittles away and, goes where it has to go. So a lot of people you might see that end up being ill and all of these things and lackluster. Usually it's just because they have forgotten their purpose in life and they don't see a purpose for themselves. And if they don't value life, well, they withdraw from the experience, and it's not a good or bad thing. It's just going on to another experience that they might see as more enjoyable. They don't want to be where they are anymore. And for some people it comes as pain. Their existence seems to be painful to them in a body, and so by bumping up against that pain enough, they decide they don't want to be here anymore. They see no use to it, and so they go on to whatever other place. But truly, it's not necessary for that to happen either, because just by finding a new purpose, by finding a new intention, by understanding your true purpose, you can be fulfilled right here, right now, right? This heaven thing that people talk about is not something far off and beyond. It's right here, right now, if you choose it. Right here, right now is heaven. Heaven is at hand. It's really at hand. It's right here, right now. So if we are to grasp and understand that, then there is no need to wait for some special circumstances to start to feel good or to feel better about ourselves. We can feel that right now, and we can have that in vision. We can experience that right now in vision as well. So understand that your purpose is up to you. You can grab it right now. You can be it right now. You can enjoy it right now, and therefore have the benefits of it right now. There is only now for real. Okay? So whatever you enjoy right now is what will be your experience. So, valuing whatever it is you value makes a huge difference, because whatever you value is what will allow you to experience life in a more lively, joyful, and enjoyable way. Make sure you know what you're valuing, because it matters. Eternal love and infinite peace.